Today we are going to talk about two main topics. We're going to talk about safety when we travel and laundry. There's a situation on a cruise ship that has me rethinking what I think about having laundry done when I'm on a cruise ship. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Wednesday, and let's start at the very top. And if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, will you please click on that subscribe button? And if you appreciate my updates, will you please give this video a thumbs up? Thanks so very much. Now, let's start off with safety when we travel. We all know that we need to keep an eye on what's going on in the places that we are going to visit. And so there are some tips I've got for you today to help you organize the way that you kind of check out everything that you need to know before you travel. And I recommend doing this sometime before you travel. Don't wait until the week before you travel to check this out, so that if anything is required, you've got time to get it. So first step, make sure that wherever you are going to travel, that you're up to date with any visa that is required. Think like Australia, New Zealand, and it really depends on where you are from in the world, what is required when you visit other places. So make sure that you're up to date on any visas, any electronic travel authorizations. Make sure that your passport is good for at least 6 months beyond the date when you get home. I think that we're all familiar with the rule that cruise lines have, that they want your passport to be valid for at least 6 months once you return home, but there are countries that also require that. So just keep an eye on your passport expiration and make sure that no matter where you're going, that you have at least 6 months left on your passport validity once you get home. Another thing that's really important is today is January 8th. This is the day that electronic travel authorization goes into effect in the United Kingdom. So don't forget, if you're going to go visit anywhere in the United Kingdom, if you're even going to have just a flight layover in the United Kingdom, you have to have their ETA. I looked right before I did this video. There is still no firm date for when that ETIAS, the electronic travel authorization for the EU, no set date yet when that is going to come online. So I'll keep checking and let you know when I see that. But next up, look at the State Department's website. There's a travel, a United States government, it's a United States government website. It's called travel.state.gov, and you can go there, and for wherever it is that you're going to go visit, you can look up and see if there are any alerts on not traveling to a certain area of a country, of a city, because some places you can visit and part of it is okay and part of it is not. I think we're all familiar with seeing cruise lines call in places that are maybe a level 3 travel alert on them, and we wonder, well, how can we do that? It's because they generally can keep it safe in the port area. The people that live there, the port officials try to keep it safe there, as do the cruise line, so they'll bring you there, but that doesn't mean that you should just go off on your own everywhere that you want to go. So you can get alerts there for any scams that you should be aware of. You can find out different roads and highways you shouldn't even go on. It's just really a useful website. I've spent a lot of time looking at it, and I'm going to use it a lot from here on out, and I've used it some in the past, but it's a really, really helpful website. The next thing that you should be aware of is just check out what the laws are. It seems like we not often, but too often we see in the news where people are detained in other countries because they've got something that they didn't even know they weren't supposed to be traveling with there. And so make sure that you know that if there is like a controlled substance, if you take a medicine, that is more of a controlled substance, you should double check and make sure that that is allowed in that place so that you aren't detained for having that with you. The last thing I've got for you on this is there is this STEP program. It's called Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, so STEP, and it's on mytravel.state.gov. You go there and sign up, and once you have signed up, you can get text alerts. It makes it so that it's easier for you to contact the embassy in a country that you're going to visit. Basically, what you do is you let them know where and when you're going to be traveling and give them your contact information. So even if something popped up unexpectedly in the country that you're going to visit, they would be able to send you messages and let you know what to do in the event of that emergency. I like to think we're not all going a lot of really dangerous places, but you never know. And I always think that it's better to err on the side of caution. And so I hope this helps a little bit. It just is some really organized ways to look at basically what's on a lot of the U.S. government websites. So if you're from another country, look and see what your country has as far as information goes for visiting a lot of places. And I especially think of this when we pull into port on cruise ships and we want to do an independent excursion. I think this information becomes even more valuable at that point because you need to know what's going on when you go on a ship excursion, but you need to know what is really going on as well, especially if you're going on one that is not with the ship, and you just want to make sure that you're safe the whole time and everything is organized the way that you need it to be. So just kind of keep that in mind. And the same thing goes if you're flying into a country and you're going to go sightseeing before your cruise, or you're not even going on a cruise and you're going to go sightseeing and driving around different countries. Gordon and I have learned a lot as we've traveled between different countries driving around in Europe about what their traffic laws are, and it's just really valuable to kind of see what's going on before you go. So let's talk laundry on cruise ships. A lot of us really enjoy the elite perk of getting our laundry done for free. On different cruise lines, they offer the perk of laundry at different levels, and it's something that people really enjoy. And even if you don't have a perk to get free laundry, it is indeed a lovely service that you can have your laundry picked up, pay the fee, and they'll wash your clothes, dry them, and return them to you. And a lot of times people will pack for their cruises with that plan in mind. They take fewer clothes because they know they'll get their laundry done during the course of the cruise and not have to pack so much. Well, on January 2nd, the guests on the Majestic Princess received a notice informing them that they were going to have 4 days without any laundry pickup. And this to me really kind of changes what is and should be in our mind when we think of laundry when we're going on a cruise. So let me quickly read part of this letter to you that the guests received so that you have an idea of why this happened. And then we're going to talk about what we need to be prepared to do. So first of all, it says, "Dear guests, as we proceed with our transition involving continuous port days in Montevideo and Buenos Aires, and considering the current location of the ship, it is essential to minimize water consumption. Therefore, the main laundromat will operate at a reduced capacity, basically with using less water. So they are going to have to suspend," this is January 2nd, "we will be suspending any laundry pickup service effective immediately, with plans to resume this service on the morning of the 6th of January. Please be assured that we will not be closing the guest laundromats during this period. However, should the need arise, we will provide advance notice prior to any closures." And of course, they sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. So during this time, you have hopefully the probability that if you still want to do some laundry, you can go to the guest laundromats. When Gordon and I were on the Sapphire Princess to Antarctica in 2020, there were a couple of days that the laundromat was closed, we noticed, and luckily it wasn't a day that we thought we were going to do laundry, but we noticed that they were closed on a couple of the days during that voyage. It was not when we were anywhere near Montevideo or Buenos Aires. So the bottom line is that the laundry service on a ship really does operate on a convenience basis. It is not a necessary function of the ship. And so when you pack clothing, kind of think in mind about how you can launder that clothing if you end up having to do the laundry yourself, is what I'm thinking. Take some soap with you, laundry detergent with you. Even if you hope you don't have to use it, take it in case you have to wash out some of your own clothing, or if you have to do laundry in the laundromat there that's on board the ship. If you're fussy at all about your laundry detergent, take what it is that you like to use so that you are prepared if they are not able to do the laundry for you. So when I'm thinking of laundry and packing for a trip, I always think of essential laundry and not quite as essential laundry. You think more of like underwear, that has got to be washed. You want your shirts and your pants and other things like that to be able to be washed, but you can get by with that on a second day, right? Or spend something off if you need to wear it again because the laundry was closed. So kind of think in your mind how many you need to take of different things and how you're going to launder the different things if you end up doing them yourself in the sink in your stateroom, because you never know what might happen with the laundry situation on board. If anybody happens to be on the Majestic Princess, let us know how everything is going with the laundry. I don't think that it's entirely just because they're in Montevideo and Buenos Aires, because like I said, we've been there before and there was not any trouble with the laundry when we were there. But you know what? Times change. rules change in different ports, weather can change, which can impact a whole lot of things. And so just putting this out there, keep in mind what you're going to do with your laundry if you're not able to have them wash it for you on the ship. So let me know if any of you have had anything else like this come up. I look forward to seeing you all here again tomorrow, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.